Hey, Burlington County. My name is Ryan Fagan, and I'm a local realtor. I feel like we always hear stories of famous people and their achievements, but there are so many amazing people all around us, and I believe their stories deserve to be highlighted. Today, I'm at B-Uno's with Carla Bennett Morrison, a lifelong Burlington resident and co-owner of Hope Academy, a childcare center in Westampton. Carla also owns and operates Soccer Mom Transportation, a child transportation service. I've really enjoyed this interview, and I hope you will too.
I'm Carla Morrison, Carla Bennett Morrison. I'm a Bennett from Burlington. Been here all my life. I actually live in the house that I came home from the hospital in.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been in my family. I'm not going to say for how long, but it's been in my family for quite a few years. And staying.
Did your parents go to Township, or where are they from?
Burlington City.
Burlington
Both
City?
my mom and dad met as teenagers in Burlington City.
Okay.
And they were together, as teenagers, and they got married, had us. And they actually divorced, but they're still best friends. They hang out all the time because they were friends in Burlington. So, yeah, my family's from here.
And you went to Township?
I went to Township.
Okay.
I've stayed, they bought a house in Township after they got married, and then that's where I've been ever since, and now I'm raising my children there.
Okay. How was, I guess, growing up in Burlington,
It's good. I had a really good childhood. In our neighborhood, it's called the Gore Square, so everybody calls it the Square. That's where I grew up, and I had a lot of friends, and we all played kickball in the street. I had a lot of friends and family in the Gore Square. Like, I have 4 family members that live right up on this street or that street.
Okay.
I still couldn't tell you what streets are. Living there all my life, I still don't know what
They're
the
all
streets
L's
are.
though, right?
They are all
Yeah,
L's,
right.
yes. But it was really, really good. I enjoyed school. I enjoyed, the friends and, just getting in trouble, sneaking out of one house when the parent came home.
Uh-huh.
We used to have a spot where, everybody gathered. But it was good. I love Burlington. That's why I'm staying and raising my kids here.
What happened after you graduated?
After I graduated, I went right into the Art Institute of Philadelphia. I got accepted to some colleges outside of, let's say the tri-state area.
Mm-hmm.
However, I took custody of a little girl, and she was 4 months old, and I was 17.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually ended up just staying around and commuting to school so that I could take care of her.
So you didn't even really have the college experience. You had to kind of grow up kind of fast, being responsible for somebody.
I took care of her. That was my choice, and I'm very glad that I did. She's 24 now, and she's in Burlington, staying. But so I chose to do that. So I commuted and worked and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
At 17, that's like a big thing to do. Decide to do.
It was a no-brainer.
And that's a long commute. You lived in Burlington?
Yeah, and I went to the Art Institute, so I would catch the 409 every day and come back and forth.
That's crazy. Because I went to Temple, and I lived in Northeast Philly for a while.
Okay.
And so I would commute there, and that was killing me. Like, that was ridiculous. I can't imagine coming all the way from here up there. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was life. I stayed local, and now I'm finishing my degree at Rutgers in Camden, so I still, commuting sometime or do some stuff online. So
when you decided to go to the Art Institute of Philadelphia, what was like your plan, in the beginning?
Well, since I was a little girl, I loved production. Like, I would be the one looking at all the movies and notice all the continuity errors, and I love production. I loved Debbie Allen, and the movies that I loved, I knew them. And so I've always loved production. So my plan was to be a producer. That's what I wanted to be. Is behind the scenes, putting everything together. So that's what made me go to the Art Institute. But then once I did my internship in New York, I was broke, and I graduated, and I took the first job that was offered to me, and that was in banking, and I did that for 20 years.
So you went for art, but how did you get the banking job then?
Because my neighbor she actually has lived in her house all her life as well. So she said, hey, there's this opening at Bank of America. It used to be on Sunset Road in Burlington Township. It's a Dunkin' Donuts now, but it used to be a Bank of America. And she said, oh, there's this opening, it was a part-time teller position. So So I said, okay, I'll take it. And by the time I came back from training, it was a full-time position. I took the full-time position with the intention to still pursue production. Never even went on the interview. I just stayed in banking, and I kept moving up really fast. So, you know, within months, I would become to the next level, you know. And I ended up doing investments, getting my licenses, and doing all that. So I kind of didn't get back to production until about 3-4 years ago.
So like you kind of like almost got forced into it, because if you're supporting like you know, and then you know you're probably making decent money, so it's like I'm not gonna give up.
Exactly. Yep.
I can see that. That's
Ended up getting married, settling down, and everything. So it was just like, you know, but I always had art, always do have art inside of me. I'm always writing and stuff like that, doing my plays and the movie, as I said. So it came back full circle.
How did we get to, you know, taking the risk of you know, having your own business from, you know, stable banking job to, you know, kind of taking the risk to open a daycare?
Yeah. Well, what happened, while I was in banking, me and my husband did a Subway franchise, because I've always had, it's like entrepreneurship's in my blood. My family is just there, and I can't get away from it.
Before I forget, can I ask you then, being, you know, having the entrepreneur blood, do you find it difficult working, you know, like in a corporate structure, you know, like, or are you able to navigate that at the same time? Because, like, I know me personally, man, I've worked a lot of different jobs. I just can't after a while. It's like hard, you know, because I like to do my own thing.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
It wasn't hard, because I'm a hard worker, and I do my best for anything I'm doing. So I was a really good worker. I was a good banker. I was a branch manager, and I was dedicated to that, you know, for sure. Because the entrepreneurship is always in my blood, I was actually working at the bank when I started the Subway.
Okay. So you were working, and you started a Subway franchise while you're working.
So it was while I was working, and my husband was working as well. We couldn't find a manager that was going to hold the, you know, treat the business as their own. So we both left our jobs, but on good terms. We left our jobs to go run the Subway. So every day we're side by side making this bread. We're running the Subway. And when we decided to sell it, we were able to go back to our jobs with no problem.
Wow.
You know, because we left on good terms, and we've always been really good, you know, employees. So. Yeah, so I went back to banking into a higher position than what I left, and I did that for a couple of years, for about maybe seven years, and then I ended up leaving banking because of post-traumatic stress. There was a robbery. Now, I've been banking 20 years now. I never even thought about a robbery, but I went into an area which was on this street, and there was a bank robbery. And that branch had been robbed before. So this street, you know, High Street has had a lot of bank robberies. There's 3 banks on the street. And my branch was robbed. I was the manager, and I wasn't able to go back into a branch since. And what happened is a partner of mine, well, who's my partner now, she approached me about a daycare, not knowing I've always wanted to do a daycare. And when she approached me, I said yes, and everybody kind of pooled their money together, and that's when I went into the having the child care center. Yep.
So when you did that, so you had other partners involved? Like
in the daycare I do. I also have a transportation company for children, and that I'm the sole partner in. But,
what's that called?
It's called Soccer Mom Transportation.
And so what do you guys do?
We transport children. We transport them to like practices, school, karate, you know, all kinds of stuff, haircuts.
Do you work with the school districts, or is this like private?
I have worked with school districts, yep. I worked with Burlington City School District and the YMCA, a program that they had. So, and it's just a safer alternative for transportation for kids, you know, with everything going on. You know, so
but there was a bus crash. Some crazy thing happened recently.
Yeah, it's pretty scary for parents. So we're like that person that we have relationships with our kids. My kids know me. I pick them up, and unless someone fills in for me that they already know, we kind of, it's moms, and we all just work together and transport children in Burlington County.
Interesting. Wow, that's great. So you have the kids transportation, and you have Hope Academy. And so I guess tell me more about Hope Academy.
So with Hope Academy, it was 4 of us that have known each other for over 20 years. We all went to church together and worked with kids, worked with the youth at our church. And so the one partner, she asked if we got an educator, someone that had been in education for over 20 years. We have someone that's a cook and has always had foster children. And we have a nurse. And then I was like the business, or I am like the business financial part of it. And so we kind of cover all bases. The 4 of us got together and opened Hope Academy. And a lot of our children are coming from low income housing, and a lot of them are coming from foster care. So our goal is that no matter where the child is coming from, we offer a great experience, but not at the prices that you might find at the more popular centers. But our goal is, as long as the children are with us, we're going to offer them the best experience. They're going to get love. They're going to get food, because one of my partners, she just loves to cook and she feeds these kids. But our goal is that at least while they're in our care, that they feel loved, they feel protected, and and they're learning a lot. We have a great teacher. Our head teacher's from Burlington Township, and you might have even graduated. I don't know if you know Janine Gudger.
I'm not sure. I'm the worst.
She's
I don't
Township.
remember anybody.
But she's from Burlington Township too, and she is awesome. She does science projects with the kids and other languages, and because she's fluent in other languages, so our kids are getting a really, really good education, and they're more than ready to go into preschool or first grade. That's our goal. We want them to say, "Oh, they must have came from Hope Academy," So that's our goal, and that's our vision. Yeah. And it's like family too.
So what made you go from taking, because I mean, I guess you could have got another job, not maybe in the branch, but at corporate or something like that. What was your passion, or what really you were like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to, because I mean, that's a lot of money to put out for the lease, and I'm sure you need a bunch of employees to run the place and all that stuff. And it's a big risk when you don't know exactly what's going to happen, even though you have a good background in finance, so you understand. But taking the risk to open it, well, you had the subway too.
But I've always been like that. Like, my friends will joke and say, Carla will have an idea, and next time I talk to her, she's doing it. It's just, I've always been just all in, just jump. I don't want any regrets. I don't want to say later on, wow, I wonder if this would have worked. Or,
I love that.
It's just go for it. And so, I mean, there's been financial loss, like with the subway when I sold it. When we got it, we bought the sales up over 40%, but it still wasn't, making the money that we needed. You know what I'm saying? So when we sold it, there was a bit of a loss. But I don't regret it, because I learned a lot of lessons.
That's crazy that you say that. Because a little bit about me, I was in the military. I got out the Army. I went to Temple. While I was going to school, I was like restless. Like, I need to do something. This is crazy. So I was looking at it, I had the entrepreneur blood too. Like, I got to do something out of the box. So, like, I bought a tanning salon.
Okay.
So, and, because I was like, I really don't know about operating a business, but there's not a lot of moving parts. There's not a lot of employees. So, like, it's a good way to, like, get into something. And I had a similar thing where we exploded sales early on, and then it started, like, trailing off, and the employees were probably getting paid more than I was paying myself.
Yeah,
which people don't know. They think you're like raking in money.
Absolutely.
I'm like, shit, you're making more than me.
Absolutely.
I like being able to pay people. But this is crazy. So I ended up selling it for a loss too. So that's really funny that you say that.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
But I go back and I think the same thing. Like, I'm glad that happened, because now I'm so much more understanding of, like, because my problem always was, and I wonder what you think, like, projecting sales was always like a big thing, because we had a lot of inventory. I don't know how your situation was with running a subway, but that was like a big thing.
Well, the thing is, when you have a franchise, you have to do what the franchisor decides, right? Because you're the franchisee, you got the franchisor. They decide, oh, let's do breakfast. Who's going to Subway for breakfast?
So you have to accommodate that.
And you have to buy this food that nobody's coming in and purchasing. So it's just like our biggest expense was like roast beef. Nobody really wanted roast beef, but you had to have it. It's very expensive, and you end up throwing it away. And then you have it's funny because I look at the Dunkin' Donuts and they start selling chicken sandwiches. And it's like, I know those franchisees are like, really? Who wants a Dunkin' Donuts chicken sandwich? And you have to do it.
And they're competing with Chick-fil-A and all that. They're going to get killed.
Stay in your lane, do what you do best, and don't try to, and franchises do that all the time. They jump into another lane, and then the franchisee has to pay for it, even when it doesn't work. You know, it's out of their pocket. We have to pay for this stuff, and nobody's coming to Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. Nobody's coming to Subway for breakfast.
Yeah,
that's
tough.
what I mean? So it was...
Oh, where was it? Where was it though?
In Delran.
It was
on
in
Hartford
Delran.
Road. It was, that big canals.
I think so.
We
yeah.
were
Okay.
Like we were connected to the canals. Now they've since moved to the ShopRite shopping center. But yeah, so it's being a franchise is, the formula is there, which is good, especially if you've not run a business, if you've not run a restaurant before. The restaurant is just risky. So when the formula is there, but you still have to deal with, let's say what happened with Jerry. If I was still a franchisee and that happened,
you had no control.
I have no control.
You got people outside like,
exactly.
I'm just like, I didn't do it. I see. That's crazy.
But this is the stuff they don't teach you. Like, I'm in business school at Rutgers right now, and I love it. But it's so much that I learned only from being on the ground. Yep. It's just I learned this stuff to get my grade. I was just packed up my international marketing book, right? And I was taking my little stickies out. I don't know anything in there. I got an A, but I don't know anything that I actually. There was some interesting facts. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
I feel the same way. I have a real estate degree, and I mean the biggest important thing that they teach us how to evaluate property, income producing property. I mean, you could Google that and figure that out really quick.
Absolutely.
It's the dealing with employees, and then even if you have an HR class, it's like it's not real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it teaches you how to work in an HR firm, but
and what not to do.
Yeah.
Like, but I just had an HR class, so that was one of the class. I took 5 last semester. I got an A in there too. What? Or either a B or something. But it was like, where's the real life application? There was some, but not 12 weeks worth. Like maybe 1 week.
Wait, so you had to work in the subway, so you're like making sandwiches and stuff, and you went from banking, and I'm sure you were doing
sitting
pretty
in the
well.
office,
Did you like resent that at all?
Money.
Like, how'd you feel about that? Like, I hate making sandwiches.
No, it wasn't like that. Because I'm the type of person, I need change anyway. So doing the same thing every day, I get very restless.
Okay.
So that was a change that was necessary at that time. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I do so many things. And that's why, I was in one position. After about 2 years, if I'm in the same position, I'm looking. 2 years is the longest I've ever been in one position.
I feel like you're describing how I feel.
What, are you a Gemini?
I'm a Capricorn.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Making the sandwiches, I actually had the opportunity to work with my husband, who's my best friend.
Now,
we were side by side every day, and honestly, that was the brokest time in our lives. Like, because he couldn't cash a check. We had paychecks, right, that we would make out to him, but we couldn't even cash them. There was just no money to cash them. Like we were saying, you got to pay your employees, but you can't even afford to pay yourself.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest time financially for us.
Because you don't know.
Right. We had no income coming in, but God. Everything worked out. But as far as we were very close, I loved working with him every day. Like I said, we're side by side making that bread.
You think that made your relationship stronger?
For sure.
Because that could go either way.
Yeah, it could go left or it can go right. But thank God it went the right way. So
I feel like that means you definitely picked the right partner.
Absolutely.
If like you work together and you still don't bump heads.
Right.
Well, I mean you're gonna bump heads, but like it's a net positive.
It was, even though it was hard financially, emotionally, we were just like that, I was working with my best friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we're just alike, we're not just alike, but he's not perfect, but he's perfect for me. So it's like a puzzle that fits.
Yeah.
So whatever I lacked, he gained. You know, he had it. Or
Are you
whatever
guys-
he lacked, I had it.
Do you think you guys are like opposites or more similar?
No, we're similar in certain ways as far as driven goals. You know, entrepreneurial. We're the same in that, but our demeanors are different. Like he's very laid back, and I'm like,
Go get it.
yeah. So it evens us out. So, you know, I could not be with somebody that's just like me. It wouldn't work. So,
Yeah, you guys would be like,
right, exactly. Like, but you know, but we have the same like ethics, morals, and you know, spirituality. You know, all that stuff is identical.
And you guys both are driven to like be the best that you can be, and all that stuff.
Yes, and visions. You know, we have a lot of visions for stuff that we want to do. You know, like I said,
That's
he's
cool.
a pastor, but and for the church, there's so much that he wants to do. And on the entrepreneurial side, to help fund us feeding the homeless or us, you know, feeding the senior citizens.
Yeah.
So it's like his mind is like, okay, how can we get the funds for that so that your members aren't stressed about tithing? Okay, how are we going to get the income to be able to feed the homeless? How are we going to get the income to do this? So he goes back to entrepreneurship. You know, yep.
Because
So,
I mean, you can come up with a lot of creative stuff at the church. So,
yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so, and he's a very humble guy. Like, he's low key, you know, and I'm just like, ah. But it works. I'm very happy. We've been together for 20 years, so have more than half my life. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the changes in, especially city? I feel like High Street is way different from even when I was growing up. You know, it's getting kind of like cool stuff is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are mad about the apartments going up though.
You know, I would be a little salty if I was that restaurant.
The Riverview, they just renovated.
It's not going to be a Riverview anymore. What do you view in apartments? Like, I feel
bad, too.
yeah, I do.
I want to thank Carla for taking the time to meet with me. Also, thank you Steve and Ree of B Uno's for letting me host the interview at your restaurant.